What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to more C4. You're home right now to all things Philadelphia Eagles football. And throwing a little plug there to my Twitter X account. I guess it's X account. Give that a follow if you are over there and you want, pretty entertaining live tweets throughout every Eagles game. But at the end of the Philadelphia Eagles' ugly home win over the bad Browns team, we have our head coach, who most fans want fired, chirping the fans. Now, if we came out and beat the brakes off the Browns, if this was 44-10, offense was humming, and he did this, you know what? I'd be like, you know what? Credit to Nick. He heard everyone talking shit. He heard everyone saying he should be fired. Everyone saying, what do you do? Myself included. And he proved us right. He got things corrected, made the right adjustments, and maybe we can go on a run coming off a bye week. An important early bye week for the Philadelphia Eagles. We got healthy. Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith back. What happened, though? Defense played pretty well. I mean, the Browns are really bad offensively, and I think some of that has to go into it, but ultimately defense did the job. They did not give up a single touchdown all game long, and we'll get into the grades, kind of break that down a little bit. But offensively, there were moments, sure, the splash plays, but are those splash plays really on coaching? Are those splash plays on, honestly, the Devontae Smith touchdown was just, we ran the same pretty much concept that got Dallas Goedert, that big, huge gainer against the New Orleans Saints, just kind of running a mesh across. They play, honestly, the Eagles offense plays like how I play Madden when I'm a really bad team and I don't really have star talent. I kind of just going to go for easy completions. And like Philly's doing that, but they have superstar talent. They're doing just the simple things, and they're letting their talent shine because the coaching is not. And we have our coach coming off of, in my opinion, arguably the biggest game of Nick Sirianni's career. Because if they lose this one, I think with the way they played, if this score ends up being, say the Browns don't miss that field goal, say the Browns actually get a touchdown, and we lose this one, I think 99% of the fan base starts calling for Nick Sirianni's head to be fired. So in a game that you ugly win, when everyone wanted you to prove that you can get this thing turned around, we barely beat the Browns, and you have your coach acting like a complete bozo to the fans. Because it's all about reading the room, right? You had Nick Sirianni. We know what he is, right? He did the Chiefs game last year where he's yelling at the fans. Personally, I like it. I like a coach that's not a robot. But that only works when it's winning. Right? You're seeing this in Miami. I have a buddy that's a Dolphins fan. And you kind of have that shtick with Mike McDaniel. And it works when you're winning. But when you're losing, it couldn't look any worse. It's magnified at how inept you kind of look for that role, to be the head coach of a football team. I did the same thing here for Sirianni. We look like dog shit. We scraped to get a win over the Browns, where we just saw the Commanders pump them. We saw the Cowboys pump them. You know what? The Giants scraped to beat the Browns. Are we on the same level as the Giants? We got the Giants next week, and I hear people saying Philly might not even be favorites. They probably will. But we should be full touchdown favorites over the New York Giants. It's probably going to be, 3.5 points, 2.5 points, something like almost a pick 'em. That is embarrassing for the talent that we have on this roster, and you have your coach acting like a completed. Again, context. If we 40-bomb, we beat the Browns by 30, which I can't remember the last time Philadelphia beat a team comfortably. And he did this, you know what? I'd go, hell yeah, Nick, talk your shit. You got everything right. No! You barely beat the Browns. This is such a boring team. We have arguably the roster, the star talent that can match up with any team in the league. Philadelphia should be can't-miss football. We should be electrifying. We should be getting into shootouts and winning. We should also have games that our elite players on defense step up and make big-time plays. And the fact of the matter is, we are a boring, poorly coached football team that's scraping by on the talent, when the talent can make a couple plays. And we got our head coach, and he's going to be at the press conference like, I heard it all game. Yeah, it's going to be some stupid explanation, when the reality is that was an embarrassing win. That was one of those, I think most fans are going to be like, oh, great, we won that game, which means another week of Sirianni. There was not a lot of positives. This win was not a type of win that has you saying, we're going to go on a run now. We're going to take this win and build off. It's going to be a snowball effect. The only positive on field is Jalen Hurts didn't turn the football over. And maybe if that's something that got corrected, during the bye week, that will be substantial. Because in these close games, no turnovers would be huge. The games that we've lost, if Jalen, I mean, again, I didn't make a video about the Bucs loss because what am I going to do? Talk about 10 minutes about Philly, we didn't have our players. We didn't have our star players, and our coach isn't good enough to win without our star players. That's the video. It would have been a 10-second video. But for this coming out of the bye, if what we gained and learned over the bye week is Jalen Hurts has figured out, I got to protect football. I'm gonna do extra steps to protect the football. That's a win. That is something that was valuably gained during that bye week. Looking at the grades here, I thought Jalen played well. 16-25, 264, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He also had 33 yards. I will say, even though it's not a insane game rushing for Jalen Hurts, I thought he looked quick. I kind of knocked for Jalen Hurts. Really, like in this stretch, going back to last season, has been he looks like he's running with wet jeans on. Like Chris Long says, has the piano on his back. I thought he looked quick today. I thought every time he tucked and run, there was a sense of explosiveness that hasn't always been there. And, a couple misses here and there. I felt like the game plan, again, just struggled, which is a reflection of the coaching. The opening script, the first 2.5 drives for the Philadelphia Eagles, it was really just like, throw it up to our star players. Hopefully make a play. Like, that is not game planning. That is literally what my 7-year-old son would do if I said, hey, go play Madden for your first time. He'd say, oh, what's this guy with a red X and a star under his name icon? Should I just get the ball to the shiny star guy? Like, that is the context that I feel like our coaches have for, like, scheduling an offensive game plan. It's just like, oh, let's give it to the good guy. Or like they look like the salary caps on everyone's heads. I'm like, okay, that guy's $20 million and this guy's $17 million. Just throw it to the big numbers. That's what we're going to do. But I do think ultimately strong game from Jalen Hurts. He did, it wasn't on him. I felt like the game plan and the play calling, especially in the first half, really affected the Philadelphia Eagles. You got to admit the blocked field goal at the end of the first half definitely kind of hurt the momentum for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that's why we only got 3 points in the third. But I still think fact of the matter is offense has to score more points than this. This was a perfect opportunity. Our defense did not give up a single touchdown, yet our offense barely managed to get 20 points, 23 if they don't block that. Like, even if you take that huge swing play where we lost 3 and we gave 7 to the Browns, still 23 points offensively against a very talented but tired Browns defense. I feel like it's not good enough. But ultimately, just looking at it within a vacuum for Jalen Hurts, I thought Jalen played very well today. Give him a B+, strong B+. Run game, Saquon was quiet. I actually think this was Saquon's worst game as a Philadelphia Eagle. He missed a block, a cut block, which I thought was pretty bad. He ran out of bounds on what should have been an easy first down. Didn't read the situation there. Also, I think the Browns did a great job. That was clearly their game plan. They're not going to let Saquon Barkley beat us. Knowing old school and Jim Schwartz, he's like, all right, Jalen Hurts is going to have to beat us here today. We're not going to let Saquon do it. So it was definitely, in my opinion, the worst game for Saquon Barkley as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. Run game was kind of non-existent, but again, you look at the context of this roster, this should be a roster that, hey, run game's not working, fine. We got a $100+ million quarterback and arguably the best 1-2 punch of wide receiver in the league. That's almost like good. You're gonna take away the run. It's gonna open up things for the wide receivers. And again, couple splash plays here and there, but the consistency certainly was not. And this is an offense that it's almost inexcusable not to get into a rhythm and not to find that consistency because there's so much talent on that side of the ball. So the run game, C- was not particularly good, but I think that was more so on the game plan of the Browns, and they have a great front. A.J. Brown, welcome back. 6 catches, 116 yards. Calcaterra stepped up. One thing I wondered, was Calcaterra at Oklahoma when Jalen Hurts was there? Because Calcaterra was, I'll tell you right now, I remember this because this was at the time that I watched college football and I heard of him, but when I was making draft classes at that time, Calcaterra was in the discussion for the best tight ends, one of the best young tight ends, underclassmen tight ends in college football. He was making ridiculous highlight reel catches for Oklahoma, had a bunch of concussions, medically retired, came out of retirement after a year and went back to SMU. But he was a long time ago at Oklahoma. I don't know if him and Jalen Hurts overlap, but there's definitely a level of confidence when Calcaterra is out there, which makes me wonder, which is huge because Dallas Goedert had a hamstring. Jordan Mailata left the game with a hamstring. I don't know if that's just the week off from the bye. Hopefully it's not serious, especially in Jordan Mailata's case. Devontae Smith, 3 catches, 64 yards, and a touchdown. Awesome touchdown, game-sealing touchdown. And undeniably, again, that's why we didn't make a video last week. or 2 weeks ago on the Bucs loss, because with no A.J. Brown and no Devontae Smith, what do you mean? What are we talking about here? Not going to win. You're not going to win any of those games. The only way Philly would have beat that game against the Bucs is if Saquon had 200 yards rushing and Jalen Hurts had 100 yards rushing. We played like a military offense from high school and college. It wasn't going to get the job done, but boy, oh boy, it feels good having A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith back for the receivers. I mean, even Jahan Dotson felt like he only had one. I thought he had 2 plays. Oh, he had a run. I say Jahan Dotson, I think both of his touches, the rush and that, were both first downs. I think they were both on 3rd down, too. So it's good. It's slow but steady. If he can get more and more involved in the offense, that's going to be huge down the stretch. So for the receivers, we'll give them, I'll give them an A just because welcome back. Thank God you're here. Looking at special teams, blocked field goal, not good enough, right? That's an F, easy F. And then we'll finish up with the defense, who were outstanding today. Now, before we go further, we need to acknowledge that the Browns' offense are terrible, and they're one of the worst offenses in the NFL. That being said, the defense was awesome today. The defense was very good. They did not allow a single touchdown. And I think what most of us were hoping to see with the bye week, with getting the guys back, Lane, AJ, and Devontae, that the offense would look reinvigorated off the bye. And we'd see this offense play up to their potential. When the reality is, the offense still kind of looked like what it did before the bye. The defense, however, we had 6 sacks through 2 games going into the bye. We had 5 today, almost matching our single season total in 1 game. The creative, how does DeJean only have a half sack? I hope that this is a miscalculation. I had him at 1.5. If not outright, give him 2, but give him at least 1.5. I have not seen a safety utilized the way Cooper DeJean was today by Vic Fangio. And my safety, he was just nickel. He was slot. But a DB utilized the way that DeJean was since Jim Johnson did that with Brian Dawkins. And if this is the way forward, right, the Vikings have a Josh Metellus. That's how Josh Metellus is utilized on the Vikings. It's how Mike Hilton has got paid time and time again. I remember back in the day with the Steelers, Mike Hilton was good for 5-6 sacks a year. It was insane. And if that's going to be the plan with DeJean, as they brought him for a bunch of blitzes, I'm all here for it. What a performance by DeJean, who honestly, I'm not going to give him the game ball outright, but he'd probably get my defensive game ball. He was for the first career start, he was the most impressive player on the defensive side of the ball on an outstanding defensive performance. I think still offensively, you had A.J. Brown. Yeah, his numbers are a little bit inflated because he padded his stats with the game-sealing big grab. What was it, 40 yards or something like that? You know what? Screw it. I'm giving DeJean the game ball. He was all over the place. In my opinion, had a sack and a half. New role, first start. Screw it. He's getting the game ball. He's representing the defense as a whole, which helped us win this game. But, again, much like the offense, we suffered injuries. Dallas Goedert, hamstring. Jordan Mailata, hamstring. Jarius Slay left the game. And you don't want to be down Slay. I know Slay is kind of public enemy number 1. Him and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with the Eagles fan base right now. It's Slay's not elite anymore. He's definitely regressed a little bit, but he's still a good starting corner in the NFL. But if there's one area on the defense that Philadelphia has plenty of depth, it is at corner. Because we got Slay, you got Isaiah Rodgers, you got Cooper DeJean, you got Quinyon Mitchell, who, man, oh man, he should have had a pick today. Him and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson colliding was brutal. Especially like that, where's that, on like a 10-yard line? That would have been a huge momentum swing. I think it's just one of those things that happens. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was looking at the football the whole way. Quinyon was looking at the football the whole way. Boom. Both guys want to make a play. Both guys desperate to make a play. Obviously, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's kind of public enemy number 2 on the defense right now. He knows a pick would get the fans off his back. And Q looking for his first career interception. It's just one of those things that happens. But again, Philly's like 5-6 corners deep. So I do think if there is something with Slay, not going to be crippling the defense, even though there is going to still be a drop-off. We have the young corners in place to already get like kind of the succession of Slay. We brought in, obviously Quinyon Mitchell is likely going to be the successor to Darius Slay. So we're kind of prepared for life, or slowly starting to get prepared for life beyond Darius Slay. So if there is an injury there, hopefully not significant because we need him out there, we should be able to endure just a little bit. But ultimately, I think the defense was outstanding. Keely Ringo came in for a play, and he absolutely lit up. I don't know, it might have been Pierre Strong, the running back. Huge hit Like, this RD, Keely Ringo's hit there, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson's hit against Bijan Robinson on 4th down. I think Zach Bond has another huge hit. Yeah, the boys playing. Bryce Huff got a half sack. I don't even remember that. Are they sure they just didn't take that off Cooper DeJean? But that's good for him to get something on the Bucs. Again, just get his momentum. There's no way he's as bad as he's played, right? Jordan Davis had some play. I don't really remember. I thought Nolan Smith played with a lot of juice. There was a couple plays that he tracked down. Great pursuit. And he got credit with the sack. Josh Sweat with a sack. I think Sweat's played fine this year. He hasn't really taken games over. Hasn't played prolifically. But I for how bad and average our pass rush has been, I still think Josh Sweat has been fine this season. BG had a couple nice plays. He had a big stop on a trick gadget play by the Browns to get them to stall out on a drive. I thought CJ was mixed bag. I thought, honestly, both linebackers, Bond and Dean, mixed bag. Couple run plays they got embarrassed with a couple times. I think it was Dean when Deshaun Watson would tuck and run it. Kind of, you would love to see him be maybe more aggressive and just commit and not be undecided and play 50-50. But, I mean, overall, defense played their asses off today. Didn't give up a single touchdown as expected, right? You didn't want to see Vic Fangio. I mean, I already remember the tweets. It was just like, oh, great, watch Deshaun Watson have a Hall of Fame game against this Eagles defense next week off the bye. All that stuff, I get it. But they didn't. Defense did their job, which was awesome to see. And as long as the defense can continue to play like this against bad teams, we got New York next week. Honestly, the next stretch for Philadelphia, very winnable games. That if our defense does their job, hopefully the offense can find a rhythm. But ultimately, I'd give the defense an A+ here today. And overall, game ball going to Cooper DeJean in his first start. There's no way he only finishes with a half sack. You got to give him at least one. Where's Ojomo? They don't have Ojomo with anything? This has to be wrong, because that Ojomo guy made a bunch of plays too at D-tackle. Wow. Wow, ESPN, step it up. But ultimately, Philadelphia gets the dub. 3-2, ugly win. Sirianni's an absolute bozo. And on to the Giants next week. Until that time, it's your boy C4. Say thank you very much for tuning in. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Eagles content, potentially and likely pink slips streams coming here soon. A lot of moving pieces, but a lot of stuff will be coming here to the More C4 channel. So hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button. Happy the Eagles are 3-2. And I'll see you guys back for the next one. Peace. I love you. Have a good one. Go Birds.